today. Youngsters traveling alone, teens, but also preteens as well.
Oh, Sonia, I think it's so much harder on the parents than it is the kids. We're talking about unaccompanied minor. That's the technical term when kids are traveling alone without their parents. And lots of kids are doing that at this time of the year. And young kids, they're going to go see their nana or they're going to camp somewhere. So there is a process to it, and that's what really we're talking about. So technically, an unaccompanied minor is kids anywhere from the ages of 8 years old to 17, and that's when they're allowed to go alone. With most airlines, you're going to find that the age that they must be enrolled in the unaccompanied minor program is between 8 and 11. So between 2 and 17, they don't necessarily need to be enrolled. You can enroll your kids, especially if it's their
12.
first.
12.
Yeah, 12 to 17. Once they're a little bit older, but they don't have to be part of that program. The most important thing is the tips. If you are going to be doing this, especially as a mom or dad for the first time, like I say, it's really, really scary. But the first thing you need to do is let the airline know before you even book. Because some airlines don't do it anymore. Most do, but some will maybe only let you do it on nonstop flights. They don't allow any connections. Kids have, gone astray, or that's the scary part.
It is frightening. So what's a checklist? What do you need to keep in mind?
Well, you need to tell the airline before you book. You need to learn about their policies because everyone has a different policy. Non-stop if possible. Some airlines allow you to have connections, but I'm telling you as a parent, there is no, if you can avoid it, the worry about how are they going to get from gate to gate, it's one you want to avoid if possible. Early flights. If you can book them early, there's less likely chance that they're going to be delayed or canceled altogether, which is awful for kids when they're just sitting. With younger kids, I always recommend that you give them a photograph, like an old school photograph, printed out on a printer, and on the back of it put who they're meeting, the address and phone numbers for that person, because when you're 8 years old and you're flying on your own, they might be able to hand it to the person who's helping them meet the person who's picking them up at the other end. Snacks, games, entertainment kind of goes without saying. Carry on only if possible. I think young kids, especially if they're going on these types of trips, they don't want to know how to get the luggage, and that's a whole other complicated part.
It's pretty intimidating just getting on a flight. You're on your own. I was saying to you, I think the first time I flew alone, I was about 16.
Yeah,
and I remember the entire flight. I remember having to take the airport transfer afterwards.
Right.
It's
a worry.
It is.
It is a worry. And the last thing I would just recommend to parents is making sure you have all of your documents in order. Make sure they have their passport and any other documents they need. If there's letters that need to be signed by the airline or documents that are required, find that out ahead of time and make sure everything's in a nice little sealed envelope
Nice
or a
and
zip top
organized.
bag, nice and organized for them. Do you have some time?